Hey, Shalom, we're live here on the July 4th celebration. We're here at Lake Eola in Orlando, Florida, and we're here with the Lionz Den radio show. So today we're going to show you a few things that you may not know and understand about the July 4th. Who am I here with?
Captain Kabosh.
Officer Kimuel.
So before we get started, Captain Kabosh, I just want you to elaborate on some of the things that we're already seeing before we get into the interviews.
Okay, so before we came here, we come into Lake Eola here in Orlando. So if you're here, we're here right in your city. So information is not far from you. But before we got here, we was just at a community in nearby, close to Lake Eola, and we was asking our people about the origin of 4th of July. A lot of our people are misinformed about what it is, and from that little short span of time, speaking to our people, hearing on the radio, the understanding of what 4th of July has changed quickly. We know where it originated from. 1776, it had nothing to do with black people. We were enslaved. Now, today, it's something that is for everybody. It's because we're one nation as a people, United States. That's not what's set up. That's not why it was set up. We had nothing to do with 4th of July. So we come out here to Lake Eola to bring some understanding to our people. What are we supposed to be celebrating? That God ordained 4th of July.
All right, so Officer Kimuel, what are some of the things you would like to teach your people today while we're out here?
I would like to teach our people, first of all, who they are. That the nationality of the Israelites is important. The scriptures say that we would look to a nation that cannot save us. Right here, we're joined with our oppressors. So today, we want to hear from our people what they think 4th of July is, and then we're going to edify them on what the Bible says.
All right, so you heard it here first from the prophets. All right, so stay tuned. We're here live, Lions in the street.
That's right.
Maybe I'ma fly away. That's what I'm trying to do. Someday. Lord will. Lord will. Man, ain't you tired, man? Man, ain't you God. I know we all have trials, so this ain't hard to understand. There is no temptation that isn't common demand. I know brothers in this truth toting more than I can bear, so I gotta step it up so I can lend a helping hand. That self-examination gotta prove the man inside. Say you want the kingdom, is you doing what's required? Is you putting more grind in the book or at your job? Has your iron sharpen iron? Are you teaching to your wife? Do you suffer sin upon us or rebuking in your wives? Or make excuse to sin where the law should be applied? When the last time that you leave I-5? When the last time that you passed out a fly? Is you walking in this truth? Do you really wanna fly? Huh? I'ma ask one more time. Is you walking in this truth? Do you really wanna fly? Is you sitting on this knowledge watching time pass by? Cause me, I'm trying to fly. I'm trying to fly. I'm trying to fly. Lord will, I'm trying to fly.
Shalom Israel, I'm Captain Tazawan of Orlando, Florida, and right now I'm here with D. All right, so basically we're getting into a lot of what God really wants us to be in these last days. The truth. Christ said in the last days, you shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free, brother. So what I want to ask you right now is, what is the 4th of July to you?
The 4th of July to me is basically, I mean, it stands for Independence Day, you know, for everybody to have their independence as individuals. But I also think that it's more of like, you know, you celebrating life in general, not just by individuals. And I also think that it's about fun and, you know, being free, you know, having that freedom, having that humanity to be free and not, you know, have to worry about anything. And that's how we all come together as a community. Even as black folks, you know, white folks, don't matter what color you are, I feel like we're all here for a reason, you know what I'm saying? So,
all right, I understand what you're saying. So you talked about freedom, correct? So when you get into what the idea of freedom is, what I want to try to get you an understanding of, or what we're trying to share to our people, is that the idea of the 4th of July, correct? 1776, it was proclaimed that the American people got their independence from who?
Well, personally, I feel like they got their independence from like the advocates and stuff like that, like Martin Luther King and stuff like that. So
okay. Well, in 1776, Martin Luther King didn't come yet, right? So I'm just let you know right now. At that time, it was the British, Great Britain. All right, they gained their independence from there. Now, in that time period, we as a people, we were still slaves. You understand? So when they made the Constitution, when they said "we the people," did that people contribute to being us, or was it just those Americans at that time?
Well, I feel like it was them Americans at that time. I feel like it wasn't, for all of us and wasn't shared equally. It was just for certain people.
Okay, 100% correct. Now, what I want to ask you is that now, with us from that time until now, because that was like 1776 until what, 2019 right now, maybe roughly over 300 years, right? What has that done for the black community? You understand? Think about our community in general. Not to be racist or anything, but Lord said, ye shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free. Us celebrating 4th of July, what has that done for us?
That's a good question. Like, what? That's a good question. I feel like it, do you want me to speak? I want to like a black person's perspective, African American person's perspective.
Whatever way you can.
I feel like, as we're going through stuff now in this day and age, I feel like it really, like, to be true, I feel like it really hasn't done as much as it should have done. That is me speaking, speaking the truth. I feel like it should have been done more. Things should have been done more, but.
Things as far as, I'm assuming what you're saying is like human rights, correct?
Yeah, that too, yeah.
Shalom, fam. This is Officer Kimmy Will, Lion's Den Radio Show. And I'm with?
Nigel.
Nigel. So you down here at the 4th of July celebration.
Yeah.
How's it going so far?
It's going pretty awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you something. The 4th of July, what does it mean?
To me, it means you free to do what you want to do, shit.
Okay. But what does that mean, you free to do what you want to do?
If the United States got their freedom on this day, why can't we, mentally?
Okay. So the United States, that's a good point. The United States gained their freedom on this day. Did we gain our freedom on this day?
From past knowledge, no.
Okay. So today is July 4th, 2019. A couple of weeks ago, what did we celebrate a couple of weeks ago?
I'm not quite sure.
Okay. You ever heard of Juneteenth?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay. What was that about?
Eatonville.
Okay. And what was that about?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
Okay. So you've heard of the Emancipation Proclamation, right? The freedom, the freeing of...
My memory on that one?
Okay. The freeing of the slaves in America, so-called black people. Juneteenth was us representing or remembering or celebrating that freedom, which after the bill was signed, 2 years later, slaves in Texas found out. Okay, and so now we celebrate that. But that was 90 years after the Independence Day of America, 1776. So we weren't free at that time.
What happened?
1776. That is what we celebrate today as the 4th of July. The freedom of America, the 13 colonies from Great Britain. So where were we at that time?
I guess in Africa?
We were slaves at that time.
So who am I speaking with?
Byron.
Byron?
Renee.
Renee. All right, nice to meet y'all. So today is July 4th. We out here enjoying the festivities. So my first question is, do you all celebrate the 4th of July?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
I'm just here
You just here?
for the scenery,
Okay.
just to see what's going on.
All right.
Likewise, not really.
So, understanding that, we out here, we just enjoying the 4th of July. For those that are out here to celebrate the 4th of July, do you think that it benefits the black community at all?
No,
No?
no.
Not at all.
Unless they learning about history.
Okay. All right. So in 1776, y'all understand that. What was the position of the blacks at that time?
As far as what?
What was our, in every kingdom there's kings and then there's a servant class. What classification were we in 1776?
A servant.
Servant? That's right. So,
In America, yeah.
right. So if we understand that we were servants, you all understand that, why do you think our people celebrate a day that really justifies and glorifies us being slaves during that time period? Why do you think we celebrate that?
Getting independence from the people who getting independence from England, who as well was oppressing the European whites that was here in the States.
But I get that. But why would black people that were enslaved celebrate somebody else's freedom?
I mean,
The festivities out here. As we was walking up, you know, we just know that we also, you know, this is our land. You know, we our right. You know, our ancestors. You know, we built this. You know, point blank. So we're not actually celebrating the 4th of July. We're celebrating the festivities. We're walking on, you know, what our ancestors did. We put this down here.
Being that you do celebrate 4th of July, how will celebrating Independence Day help and improve the black community? You understand the question?
Yeah. I would say it'll probably help to get over that hump of like not necessarily diversity, but bringing us together. I can't think of the word right now, but segregation. It'll probably, like, you know what I'm saying, eradicate segregation, bring us closer together.
Okay, so being that you say that it would help us bring us closer together, how long have we been celebrating Independence Day here in America? How long you have been celebrating?
About 20 years.
20 years. Now, from the time that you had understanding on how the world operates, being that we're segregated, we're separate from the other races, right? You see the difference between us. In your 20 years, do you see things changing for the better?
Yes and no.
What, okay, let's start with both. Let's start with yes. What do you see changing?
I say yes and no because it's all about the people. It's not about if we can, because of course we can, but we also cannot. It just depends on what we do as people.
Okay, so more so real solid answers, like things that you've seen that changed, like we got better with this, we got better with this, and then we'll start what has not changed. So what has changed?
We have more rights.
Like what rights?
A lot more than back then.
Like which ones?
The right to vote. A few more. I mean, things aren't really changing at a rapid pace or the pace that we would like them to. So I can't necessarily say that they are going to change in the near future.
So back on the topic of us actually where we were at that time, what do you think they were doing right now on 4th of July back then? The first one.
From the 17, that. Well, I believe it was more like white. Obviously, it was white people. You know, they was celebrating it, and I feel like we wasn't given a chance to celebrate it because around that time, like you said, we were slaves. We were like
still slaves, exactly. Now, I'm gonna share something with you. I'm sorry to cut you off. When you're reading the scriptures, because we read the Bible from Genesis to Revelations, and we realize through what's written in the Bible that that's actually our history book. Moses told the Israelites at that time, if you break God's commandments, you're going to serve your enemies for the want of all things. You're going to have to serve your enemies that put you in slavery for food, clothing, and water. So back on the topic or the question I asked you, which was, what were your forefathers doing the very first July the 4th, 1776? Like you said, we were slaves, brother, and we were serving our enemies. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's getting into. Okay, so I kind of asked you earlier. It says basically the Declaration of Independence. Do you know anything about it whatsoever?
To be honest, no, I do not.
Right. So when you get into the scriptures, and that's what we reveal to our people as knowledge, all right, that we should go by. You read Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 2. Jeremiah, a black man, right? Our founding fathers are not Abraham Lincoln, no, because we have no connection to them, but we do to the Bible. Jeremiah, the prophet, a black man, he said, you shall not learn the ways of the heathen, all right? And that's what we do here today in America. We go by the names of what? If I ask your nationality, what's your nationality? African American, right? So African and American, that's a label that we were given in slavery, you understand? So this right here is not our customs. This is simply a way of life that we've grown up into it, that we're accustomed to, right? But connecting us back to God in the Bible, we have many other connections to our God, you understand? Which is Sabbath day, the Passover. We weren't supposed to celebrate Christmas because once again we learned that being African Americans. So like this, for example, if your slave master back then was Baptist, So were you a Baptist? You understand? You get 'em- if they were Seventh-day Adventists, the slaves were as well. You understand? So we have to be open-minded to God's commandments. You understand? And His Word, and go back to what God really called us. You're an Israelite. You understand? As we're trying to show it to our people as well.
So then now, why do we come out and celebrate it?
Probably to gain their knowledge so we can use it productively. I don't know. That's what I do.
Okay, so we gain their knowledge so we can use it productively.
No disrespect though, 'cause I really don't know.
No, that's fine. That's fine, sister. That's why we out here. So we go to their schools and we gain their knowledge so that we can use it so that we can get ahead?
Well, to me, I don't know because I dropped out 3 times.
Okay. So then, while we're down here on the 4th of July, right, they're going to be lighting fireworks here soon, and they're going to be celebrating their victory and their independence from another nation that looks like them. We were slaves at that time, so we should not be celebrating that holiday. You ever heard of Trayvon Martin and Sandra Bland and Michael Brown? What does that mean to you?
I have a story about Sandra Bland.
Okay, go ahead.
It was real personal. One time I was driving in Dundee, right? I was going to go see my friend. And for some reason, like, I guess I didn't come to a complete stop at a stop sign. I got pulled over, right? And I had a black and mild, right? And what I did was, because of what happened to Sandra Bland, I immediately put that black and mild out inside of the Arizona can. I was scared for my life.
You were scared for your life, right? Okay. Now, the Bible prophesied about we would be living in a condition like that, where our lives would hang in balance. Okay. But now, these same people that you were afraid of, now we're down here and we're celebrating their independence.
So, is it a better observation for me to say that nothing has changed, basically?
Basically, yeah.
Nothing has changed, right? So, what has not changed based on your 20 years of celebrating Independence Day?
The way our people are being treated, it hasn't fully changed. The way things are handled in the courts, we aren't treated equals. We aren't all treated equally. That's the main thing. We don't all get the same education. We don't always get the same opportunities. Pretty much a lot of things.
It has not changed. All right. So, third question. Exactly who has gained their actual independence on this day, and who from? And from who, excuse me, and from who? Who has gained their independence and from who?
Not black people.
Historically speaking, who has gained their independence?
White people.
And what year did they gain their independence?
1776.
1776, that's correct. Now, what was black people doing in 1776?
Picking cotton.
So, I'm going to start with the next question. I'll come back to that one. At the time, America was 13 colonies and did not want to be subject to Great Britain. That's the reason why they got their independence. They're celebrating that, right? You said our ancestors were in slavery at that time. You answered that question. What did the Declaration of Independence propose? What did it propose?
Freedom. I'm not really up to date on the Declaration of Independence, but it pretty much equal opportunity, freedom, our rights as Americans.
Okay. And do you think we gained those rights today?
No, not everyone.
All right. So, could you name a few of our founding fathers that actually signed the Declaration of Independence?
Not right now, not right off the top.
All right, so understanding that today is the 4th of July and it's America's Independence Day, what purpose does Juneteenth serve, seeing that we say that today is Independence Day?
Say that again.
I said, we just celebrated Juneteenth a few weeks ago. Why do we have 2 Independence Days in America? Why do you think that is?
I mean, one is direct, for us as a people.
Right.
You know, and the other is for them as a people.
Right.
You know.
Okay, good. So we're understanding that the so-called blacks here in America and the so-called Europeans, we're not the same. We understand that, and we are under 2 different classifications. Would you agree?
Definitely.
Right, that's how they still segregating us. You know, we're still doing, like you said, we just had a couple of 2 weeks ago, Juneteenth, and now it's like, oh, that doesn't matter to them. They didn't come out and celebrate, but we're enjoying all these. They didn't have all these vendors and, you know, the fireworks and everything for us. We have
They're
to.
not gonna support us like that.
We have to find our own events, our own activities, and we don't have those funds. So I think that's part of it. And we don't, you know, they don't put us out there on the media as much as they would the 4th of July. So
Malcolm X said this. He said a race of people is like an individual man until he uses his own talent, expresses his own culture, affirms itself. It would never. Basically, he was saying you got to know where you come from in order to know where you're going.
Great. Okay, now that leads me right into the next question. Who are we as a nation of people before we got here to America?
I mean, some would say, you know, a lot of people, I mean, I think that's where our history comes from, you know.
What is that?
I mean, I think this, y'all may be Hebrew Israelites.
Okay.
And that's pretty much getting to the foundation, even when you study Kemet Nu or whatever, going all the way back, and that's what they talking about. You know, you getting back to the originality, where everything was birthed from, where everything come from. W.E.B. Du Bois said, he said, how can one ever expect to extricate themselves from personal and cultural genocide and suppression by incorporating the culture and religion of the oppressor and adopting it as a defining character of one's identity.
we both come from that background. His family, his father, my father, Muslim, and you know, so you know, we're just out here. We taught mad history on our way up here. We just actually encountered some people walking on the same sidewalk. So, you know, I'm always walking firm. So, you know, out of respect, you move as you come across. So they looking, and I was like, wow, they're not gonna move. So, you know, you still have those issues. And, you know, I was upset with myself because I slightly moved.
I heard trying to be respectful.
Right,
and they didn't, none of them didn't move,
you know,
because they feel it's privilege to them. Right. You know, even though they're not European whites from here, they was European whites from somewhere else.
But it was like
so they
still
feel privileged and like they're better than us. Right. You know, I know that, she know that.
All right. Now, it's funny you say that. Understanding that, and understanding today is July 4th. Did you know that in the Constitution, it was written that slaves, black people, are 3/5 of a man?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, do you think if our people on a major scale understood that we would continue to celebrate the signing and the independence of a country that says that we are 3/5 of a man?
I think some would, because, you know, a lot of people want to fit in with other people, you know, and it's not having a love of self, you know, or having knowledge of self. You know, so a person got to have knowledge of self and want to embrace who they are. But everybody don't love themselves. So
a lot of things aren't taught at home either. You know, we don't raise our kids to understand these things. So they out here learning by who? You know?
I'm gonna go back to the one question you asked, one question we spoke about. Who benefited from the Declaration of Independence? So you have black people, we were enslaved in 1776. And 4th of July, we were enslaved, right? We weren't popping no fireworks, right? You agree, right? Okay. Why do you think we should celebrate the 4th of July today, being that nothing has changed? And other than it's just a time to come together and pop fireworks, why do you think we should celebrate it today if it historically has nothing to do with us today?
We shouldn't.
We shouldn't.
Right.
Did you just now come up with that solution, or you been understand it?
It's something I always thought of, but I mean, more so instead of celebrating the independence and what it really stands for, I just like the camaraderie, the community and getting together with my family and stuff. So more or less, it's more just, I don't know, celebrating with my family, not about the independence.
Okay. Now, last question I got for you, brother. Would it look wise enough for us to come out and celebrate a day, especially when it had nothing to do with us? How would it look to those that oppressed us for us to celebrate a day that had nothing to do with us? Does it make us look intelligent? Or does it make us now look integrated to where we are now becoming one people because this is how it should be? You understand?
No, it don't make us look any better. It don't help the situation. And honestly, I feel like it kind of, like, if they could be here to see, they probably would be ashamed and wouldn't want us to. But I mean, it is what it is. We don't really have too much control over that.
You have control, right?
Right.
So we got to start one by one to change our communities. Inform your family. Look, I used to do it too. We got to inform our family. Look, this has nothing to do with us. There's other days we can keep. There's other days we can celebrate. The greatest day that we had our independence as Israelites, as people, that's who we are, the Israelites, is when we came out of Egypt. Do you think Christ would have been celebrating the 4th of July if he were alive this day?
No.
Do you think he would have been keeping other things more biblically?
Yes.
Passover, you're familiar with Passover? That's celebrating independence. When we came out of Egypt, we separated ourselves from the Egyptians. We came into our own land, we set up our own culture, we had our own laws, we governed our own people. Those are days more so we should be celebrating. Like today, this got nothing to do with us.
I just want to share one thing with you before we wrap up, okay? I need my reader right quick, Lamentations 4:17. So I'm going to share something with you, okay? All right, Daniel, I want you to read for Sister Nija. Daniel, Lamentations chapter 4, verse 17.
Before you start, last name is Bragg.
All right, Sister Bragg, come on.
Back up.
Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 17.
They were telling him to back up. He was in the camera.
As for us, our eyes have yet failed for our vain help. In our watching we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
So it is prophesied in America that this nation will not be able to save us. That's why stories like yours are common about being pulled over and being fearful for your life because of what you've seen happen to our brothers and sisters.
All right, Shalom Israel. So we just concluded our interviews here on our July 4th celebration at Lake Eola. What we saw was a lot of our people were destroyed and they did not even understand what they were celebrating. But we pray that the word opens up their understanding, and we pray that they come to the understanding that they are the Israelites. Right. So once again, we are here with the Lions in the Streets from the Lion's Den radio show every Sunday afternoon at 6 o'clock. So once again, we do not ignore evil.
We seek to expose it.
Shalom.
Now they will see the true men of God. We are not black men, we are the Israelites. That's right. Take care of us. Take care of us. And our children too. And our children too. We have repented. We have repented. How about you? How about you? People want to know who's the king.
Oh, nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father. Oh, nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father.
Now why they trying to make it so hard to serve God? And why when I say that I'm a Jew it sound odd? For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sounds wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.